Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar today. The topic of discussion is make testing a non-event for your Oracle ERP Cloud applications quarterly releases. This is Lavanya Salagundla. I will be your moderator today. I head our test engineering practice and the CloudTestr platform. And today's speaker is Art Devereaux. He's Director of Quality Engineering at SuneraTech, and he will be talking about how customers are leveraging automation for their quarterly patch updates for their Oracle Cloud applications. Without further ado, I will hand it over to Art. Art, before that, just a quick housekeeping. If you have questions, please do post it on the Q&A box that you have available. We will answer those towards the end. Please don't use the chat window. Please use the Q&A window so that we can see the questions coming in and we'll be able to answer it towards the end. Thank you. Art, please go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Lavanya. And thanks, everyone, for joining us today. As Lavanya noted, we're going to be talking about making testing a non-event for your Oracle Cloud ERP applications and also HCM, SCM, the Oracle suite of applications that are in the cloud. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we want to touch on, many clients who are looking to move to the cloud or recently moved to the cloud is really understanding the new pace of change that is introduced with the quarterly release cycle. Many of the clients that we work with and speak with, prospective clients, when we talk to them about the quarterly release cycle, they do note that the pace of change is somewhat startling. And through those conversations, we've been able to identify that many organizations that we're speaking with, on average, are spending between 1,000 and 1,500 hours. That's man hours. Testing each quarterly patch release. Right, so they're on average they're spending between 4,000 and 6,000 hours per year dedicated to test planning and testing of the quarterly patch release, which is a significant investment in their human resource, in their human capital, and productivity to get through that effort. That equates to about 16 weeks. So each organization is spending about 16 weeks during that planning and testing phase dedicated solely to testing the quarterly patch release, conducting regression testing to ensure that their current processes are not broken, looking at new features and have to move to, let's do smaller chunks of work, right? So in many organizations, that requires a change in culture. You have to be cognizant of evaluating the new plan and plan for adoption of features. So the continuous innovation that's being delivered as part of a cloud solution is also causing you to evaluate what are the new features that are coming in, how can we benefit from those, how are we going to adopt those, and slate that into your product management schedule and train users on the new features that are being delivered. You're maintaining application continuity. You do have a challenge sometimes, a responsibility of keeping the application up and running when it's being updated. And there's that need for continuous regression testing. So, the continuous delivery model has many benefits. It also requires new responsibilities, and it does pose a challenge for many organizations. So let's talk a little bit about how automation, test automation of the quarterly patch releases can minimize that business disruption, right? It allows for agility in adapting new changes. The automation of the test and regression efforts, and even during implementation, the CloudTestr application platform can be leveraged to support companies that are going through a cloud implementation to reduce cycle times. But it takes some of their testing responsibility off of each client that we work with and allows them that agility to adapt to change. Again, it's predictable. We help ensure quality rollouts. So the test effort is being conducted in an automated fashion. There is speed involved. We can get through the testing effort and from an automation perspective much quicker than a manual effort, or even with a homegrown automation solution with an off-the-shelf product like Selenium. It frees up key personnel from the actual tasks of testing, which they may be involved in, to look at the enhancements, the new features, the improvements that are being delivered from Oracle, so that they can see how each business unit can leverage those enhancements, those features, to benefit the business. And finally, it lowers costs. If you go back, if we talk about the original slide that we discussed, you're spending quite a bit of man hours and lost productivity because you're spending that time testing. If you're freeing up those personnel to not have to worry about testing, you're in effect lowering the cost. In addition, it is a reasonable solution from an economic perspective to implement. Okay. Real quick, we're gonna jump into a customer case study here and walk through how CloudTestr has benefited this client. This client is a leading integrated provider of construction, repair, and engineering services for distribution and transmission power lines and substations. Okay, this client that we work with, we've been working with for some time now, has both Oracle HCM and ERP Cloud applications. So again, the solution is not, the topic of today is making ERP testing a non-event. This solution, the CloudTestr solution, does apply to all Oracle platforms, cloud platforms, and on-prem as well. We do support EBS. But this client has global HR, employee self-service, absence, benefits, and payroll. And on the ERP side, they have PPM and finance modules implemented. As part of their cloud strategy, they recognized early on that they needed to have some sort of automation as part of their cloud strategy solution. And so we've been working with them for some time to automate and run their regression testing for each of the quarterly patches that they receive. We've done that from 19D through 20 to coming up through 20C. We've automated more than 600 test cases for them. And on the right-hand side of the slide, you can see that breakdown between the HCM products and the ERP / finance project products as well. Okay. This client in particular has some unique testing needs and leverages the CloudTestr platform because they look at, they're more interested in testing a business flow, an end-to-end type of transaction, which the platform supports and we support, rather than standalone test cases. Many clients are looking at just to make sure that individual functionality is working. But the beauty of the CloudTestr platform is it allows us to string together some fairly complex business flows and provide a testing solution that exercises the end-to-end functionality so that they can see a hired employee taking a vacation, taking an absence, inputting timesheets, and seeing that generated on the payroll as well. So it's a holistic end-to-end solution that's provided to them that they're very happy with. Real quick, we'll touch on kind of the automated release lifecycle from impact analysis through sign-off and validation. So the first thing that we do when we work with clients is we do a release impact analysis where we're doing a comprehensive assessment and we're providing them with an impact analysis report. And what we're looking at is as we work with clients, we really come to understand their solution, their implementation, their customizations, their personalizations, configurations, and we're working with them to highlight areas where in an upcoming release where we believe there's going to be an impact to their implementation. Okay, that's a process that we go through with all of our clients. The second step of that is to maintain and execute. So basically what we'll do is as part of each solution, as part of each regression effort, we will maintain the test cases that have been scripted, and then we'll execute them and report on the results. Right? And we do this within 5 business days, which is key. As anybody who actually currently has an Oracle Cloud application implemented, you realize the time frame that is provided is a very short time frame. You have about 2 weeks, not even about 2 weeks, you have 2 weeks to test for the general release. Once it hits your test pod, it's going to production 2 weeks later, right? So our ability to very quickly maintain and execute test cases or test scripts in an automated fashion is really what sets us apart from any competition. We also provide auto health check routines. And by this, I mean, we're looking for monitoring transactional performance, looking for any slowdowns, at a transactional level after a release. And we're also looking to ensure there's no security breakdowns. So a lot of clients have role-based security, and we're looking to make sure the scripts are scripted in a way where we're looking for role security integrity, that it is suddenly after a patch, a general user doesn't have administrator rights, et cetera, and administrators have the rights that they should have. We also retest any defects that are logged or SRs that are logged, and post a fix, we'll retest those as well and report the results. So that's all included. And then finally, step 5 is review and sign off. We review the results with our clients, and we obtain their sign off as part of each quarterly patch release. Okay. So what are the benefits that are realized by subscribing to CloudTestr? So this client really values the proactive change and impact analysis that we provide to them. The automated release validation is done within 5 business days of applying the patch, which is a tremendous accomplishment. We're getting through that test suite of 600 plus test cases in 5 business days. Their key personnel, their business analysts, their subject matter experts are no longer worried about actual testing. They're looking at new functionality. They're looking at any business critical tasks that they want to make sure that they have 100% validation on. We were able to actually increase the test coverage through the automation effort as well, which is key. They had in their initial suite, they did have some RPA bots, but they had gaps in test coverage because of limitations to those. So it was kind of a piecemeal solution where they were doing a significant portion manually, trying to coordinate with the automation as well. And we've been able to close those gaps. And again, they can focus on new feature adoption and functionality. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the CloudTestr automation, the actual platform itself. So CloudTestr is delivered as testing as a service model. It is a scriptless solution. So when I say testing as a service, what I mean by that is the CloudTestr team does the scripting and the execution for our clients. It is not a tool that the client has to use to actually write their own scripts. We do the scripting, we do the execution, we do the reporting. And by scriptless solution, I'm referring to the fact that our test engineers and our Oracle subject matter experts are not actually writing the automation code. The platform generates the automation code on its own, right? So we go through and we'll capture and configure process within each client's implementation. And while we're doing that, we're configuring the scripts to run in their application in their environment. So each script for each set of clients is unique to their environment. We're capturing their personalizations and their configurations that they have implemented for their business needs, and we're able to capture those very quickly because of the scriptless solution. Okay, so what that provides is automated test case management. So we're providing test documentation, test management. The platform is accessible to all of our clients, so they can see reports and metrics that come out of it, and we're also helping with change management. As noted earlier, the testing types or the test functionalities that the platform supports are broad. We're obviously doing functional and regression testing. We can do integration testing, both inbound and outbound, with third-party applications. We can stub out if we have to, potential, integration points. We can run full validation of, again, upstream and downstream integration applications with the Oracle suite of platform. Again, that's the end-to-end testing solution. The performance testing is, I touched on that a little bit, which is the individual transaction level performance. So we're ensuring that there's no process slowdown. So for example, if you look at something like create journal, if that was taking a minute or a minute and a half in release 20A, and we see it jump up to 2.5 minutes in 20B, we're able to identify that and work with our clients to find out what the problem is and what potentially the solution is. And again, we're also doing some role-based security testing as well to ensure that those roles, those custom roles that they've set up for their implementation and their application are intact from release to release. Okay. Real quick, we're going to go to a demo. I'm going to need to stop sharing real quick to bring up the platform. I'll be sharing in 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. So this is the CloudTestr platform. So we'll go ahead and we'll get logged in. So all of our clients, like I said earlier, have access to the CloudTestr platform, to the dashboard. This is the main landing page. This is what they see when they log in. And what you see here is the main dashboard, and you basically have high-level metrics of test cases that are under development, test cases that are in execution. We also can integrate with defect tracking tools. We also have defect tracking capabilities within the tool itself. But if a client has an application like Jira and the APIs are exposed, we can integrate with that defect tracking platform to track defects for each execution. This is our demo instance. So what you see here is Oracle EBS, EPM Cloud, Financial HR, Financial Cloud HCM. Each of our clients, what they'll see is only the applications that they have installed for their environment. But the dashboard is the same for any client, regardless of the applications that they have. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to drill down real quick. This is just the EBS module, but we can drill down on each of those to view a little bit more granular level view of the test cases. If they'd like, they can do some filtering. They can look at test cases that are in progress. They can look at yet to start. They have the ability to further refine their search criteria within this little widget here. They can select different products, different test case statuses, etc., and modules. So again, all of our clients have access to their dashboard, and they can come in and view this. They can view real-time metrics here as well. So let's take a look at a test case. So since the topic of today is ERP, let's bring up an ERP test case, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to filter. I'm going to search by keyword. I'm going to bring up a test script ID here. So this is a post-journal entry test case. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the look and feel is the same, regardless of whether it's an HCM application, if it's SCM, if it's ERP, if it's an on-prem, if it's EBS. The screenshots, the feel of the tool does not change depending on the application that you see. The first thing that clients see is we have a documentation and validation page. This is where we're capturing screenshots and the test cases and the test scripts. We have a description for each of them. They can cycle through and see the screenshots that are captured. Some clients want a lot of data and a lot of information captured, and some are not so stringent. Okay, but all of the documentation is downloadable in a PDF format. So one of the benefits of this is you don't have to worry about test cases or test documentation going stale. If we make any changes to a test script for whatever reason, it could be because Oracle has delivered new feature functionality that's going to impact the test case, that we have to maintain that test case. Once the maintenance of that test script is complete, that documentation is auto-generated, and the client no longer has to worry about that. And what you see here is some basic information about the environment, where it was run, what the test case was, the business scenario, and the date it was run. And again, we have the screenshot and the description in all of the documentation. Again, this documentation is downloadable, so it can be stored on a SharePoint or Wiki for customers that like that. And we do have customers that actually use this as training material as well. They can provide this to new hires, potentially it's in their HR or in their finance area, to walk them through how they've implemented the application and use it as a piece of training material. Okay. In the activity log, we do keep track of all the changes that have been made to a test case or a test script. So you can see that here. And test data management. Anyone who has exposure to automation knows that test data and test data management is key to a successful automation effort. Here we have the ability to manage test data in several different ways. If we're running a low permutation test script, we can manage that here through single line item data combinations. If we're working with an application where we have access to a database. Now, we've been focusing on Oracle. CloudTestr platform can also automate pretty much any web application, in-house application that a customer or client may use. If we have access to the database, we can write SQL query and we can fetch the data in real time to be used as part of the test script. And if we have some scenarios that require a large number of permutations, we can upload that as a CSV or Excel file. The benefit of that is it provides us the ability to increase or broaden test coverage through data permutations and limit the number of scripts that are actually created. So we do have some clients where we're permeating or iterating through 10 or 12 different scenarios through a single test case to broaden the coverage and ensure that there's no missing or no gaps in the test coverage. And then finally, we have run history. And the run history is where customers and clients can see every time the test is run. They can basically see a pass or fail. Obviously, they could find the status of it. Again, this also generates the documentation for customers or clients. They see the execution results. If there's any failed steps, those are called out at the beginning of the documentation, so that they don't have to go hunting for any failed test case or test steps, I should say. And they'll see the step and the screenshot, and the step and the screenshot along with the status. Again, this is downloadable as well. And these two can be downloaded and uploaded to a wiki or a SharePoint site for audit purposes. If you have an internal audit group, as some of our customers do, they want to be able to see what was tested with each release. This is a great way for our customers to meet that requirement, or any customer to meet that requirement. Again, because it is downloadable and can be stored offline. Okay. And then another feature that is unique to CloudTestr is our ability to string together tests, and we call these test sets. And what this feature allows us to do is write at a more modular level individual test scripts and then string them together with dependencies, so we can exercise complex business workflows or complex end-to-end test efforts. So it's a simple drag and drop feature. And what we do is, in this scenario here, these two test cases would not be dependent, but they could be run in parallel. If I bring in a third test case here, I'm having a little trouble right now with my drag and drop. We can sequence these so that they would run with dependencies. So for example, this test case 5946 and 5943, when they're set up and configured in this order, they are dependent on one another. So 9543 will not run until 5946 has been completed. And we can feed data from one script to the next script to put together a complex end-to-end scenario where you're taking the results of test script 1 and you're feeding it to test script 2, and then potentially test script 3, test script, and so on. Right, so it's a pretty unique feature that allows us to broaden our coverage, and again, it gives us the ability to exercise some complex business flows that allows us to give broader coverage to our customers. Okay, we can plan releases and we can view information by releases. So again, this is our demo instance. If we had what we called a demo release, in this instance, we ran one cycle with one test set and one test case, for example. So clients have the ability to view metrics by release. And again, they can also view a schedule. We have the ability to schedule test cases or test runs as well. So it's a very comprehensive solution that provides a lot of flexibility to our customers and our clients and the marketplace. That's unique. That many customers or platforms don't have the ability to do. Okay, let's go back to the demo. I should say to the presentation. So how does it work? So it's fairly simple. It's a 4-step process in how we engage with prospective clients. It really is a process of working through a sign-up process where we're estimating the effort. We're working through documentation. We come to an agreement. We get access to the documentation. Then we go through an onboarding process where we agree on scope. We set up the CloudTestr, we set up access for our clients, and then we go through a process of capturing, configuring the automated test scripts. And that's where kind of the rubber meets the road. That's where we're really going in and we're capturing a client's configurations, personalizations, etc., and making those test cases, those test scripts unique to each client. Okay. We also go through basically a dry run. We do the execution and we report the results. We're going to review those with the client as part of the onboarding process. And when they're in agreement, we basically have a test suite that's ready to run. So during execution, we normally engage about a week or two before a client's prospective quarterly release update. We talk through any changes that they've made. We go through an impact analysis with them. Then we move into the execute phase where we execute the test cases. and we report the results. We retest any defects that are found or any defect fixes that are delivered. And we review the final results and get sign off from the client. And that's what we do basically within the first 5 days of the quarterly patch release. Okay. We also provide on-demand support. We can help with support of triage and fixing of configurations or personalization issues. And we also can work with some of our clients. We actually provide Oracle SR support or SR support management, where we're actually logging SRs on behalf of the client and working through those with Oracle to provide the documentation. So that's another feature that we bring to bear. Okay. So why CloudTestr? This is, a lot of you are on this to find out why, to get an understanding of how this platform separates itself from others in the marketplace. The first thing we like to call out is CloudTestr is the only test automation platform that's available on the Oracle marketplace, which is huge, because in order to get on the Oracle marketplace, you have to be vetted by Oracle. They have to understand the product. You have to provide documentation. They have to have trust and confidence that a platform on their marketplace is a trustworthy platform and can bear that partnership. So again, we are the only test automation platform that is available on the Oracle marketplace. We offer it as a platform as a service, right? So we talked a little bit in the beginning at testing as a service. This is not a tool that companies have to buy and then they have to staff resources with. We bring the full solution to each of our engagements from an automation perspective. It is subscription and consumption based, so customers are only paying for what they use. It's not something, again, where you have to have resources that may sit idle for a period of time, where you may not have a whole lot of work for them to do. This is a very economical model because that's subscription and consumption-based pricing. We do have a very close relationship with Oracle, so we have pre-built test cases for packaged applications for both on-prem and cloud. Again, we talked about the enterprise automation platform. This is a holistic end-to-end solution that can validate integrations, that is validating your Oracle suite of applications, that is integrating with any web applications that you may have, to provide a broad, comprehensive solution for your automation testing needs. Another area that we like to tout is, and I talked about it a little bit earlier in the presentation, is onboarding. We do the onboarding process, takes about 4 to 6 weeks with most customers and clients, and that execution is done within 5 business days, which is key. Anyone who's listening in today who has looked into an automated solution for any testing, regardless of the platform that's under test, realizes that automation it requires a lot of care and feeding. In most automation efforts, they trail behind the development effort by at least a release, because it takes time to automate, and it also takes time to maintain the test cases that have been automated so they don't grow stale. The beauty of this solution, again, is because it's a service and because of the scriptless nature of the scriptless solution is our maintenance and onboarding is very quick, and it's quicker than anyone else in the marketplace. Okay. We also work with automated change management as well, and again, automated health check routines, performance monitoring. The generation of documentation is huge. Documentation normally is not an activity that most people like to do. So it's great that you have a platform that actually auto-generates the documentation for you, so that it does not grow stale. Okay. So at this point, we're pretty much at the Q&A portion of the call. We'll open it up to Lavanya, if you could moderate the questions, and we'll see what information we can provide to the group.
Sure, Art. Thanks. So we have a few questions here. And again, if you have any questions, please post them on the Q&A section, and we will take that up right now. So one of the questions we have from Ruth is, can we test our customizations with CloudTestr?
Yes. So what we do is because the scripts are captured and configured in each environment that are specific to every client that we're working with, we are capturing the customizations, the configurations, personalizations that had been implemented as part of your Oracle Cloud implementation. So yes, we do test the customizations, the configurations, the personalizations through the tool.
Okay, there is another question here from Sairam. He's asking, do you support integrations as well?
Yes. So the integration testing, again, we can integrate with web applications. We can, if there's API integrations that are required to make sure that API calls are being generated. Yes. So we do support integration testing, both upstream and downstream. So if you have, an FTP file that has to be consumed, we can mock that up. We can submit that. And if there's a file that's generated, we can also generate the file and post it to its destination.
Okay, there is a question from Satish. Can the schedule test module provide alert either through email or future downloads?
I believe once the scheduled tests are run, once they're complete, there is an alert via email. And then also, again, users have access to the platform at all times, so they can actually see the results in real time once a test suite has been scheduled.
Okay. There is a question from an anonymous attendee. How do you handle test data?
So test data, again, test data is key, and test data management is key to any successful automation effort. So it's handled at the script level. So we went through, when we were going through the demo, we stopped on the test data management tab. And on that tab, we'd manage the test data there for each script, each individual script. And we have flexibility. Again, if we're writing a script that only iterates through one or two permutations or a single permutation, it's handled through the GUI interface of CloudTestr, where we enter in the data that's required for that test case. If we have access to an application that has access to the database, we can actually write SQL queries to access that data and fetch it in real time and feed it into the test case. And then lastly, if we have a scenario where we want to iterate through 10, 12, 15, 20 permutations of data via a single test case, we can use a CSV file or Excel file to upload that and really provide a data-driven automated test, which again provides broader coverage and less number of scripts, which is ideal, right? You get more bang for your buck, so to speak.
Okay, there is a question from Nimet. Does the solution also support load testing? How many concurrent users can be tested?
So currently it's not a load testing, so it's not a traditional load and performance testing platform. The performance testing that we're doing is at a transactional level. So it's not a load and performance testing tool at this point.
Okay. There is another question from an anonymous attendee. You mentioned on-prem testing. We have PeopleSoft application and we use PTF scripts. How can the solution be used instead of PTF scripts for on-prem installs?
Vanya,
I can
that one to you because I don't have much exposure to PeopleSoft.
All right. So yes, we can support PeopleSoft through CloudTestr. The way it works is quite similar. We do capture and configure the test, and then the platform auto generates the code for us. We can definitely do a separate session for on-prem applications and how it works. But in a sense, yes, so for PeopleSoft application, the platform can support automating your tests. Okay. Okay, so I think there is another question from Satish. Can you explain in detail how the subscription and consumption-based pricing means or works?
Okay, so the subscription, so think of it's basically a yearly subscription, and the pricing is based on the number of test cases and executions that each prospective client wants to execute. So we have clients that are running as few as 200 test cases, and we have some that are going to be running in excess of 2,000. So it's really, that's how it's based. So we base it on basically 4 releases per year. We can also provide custom pricing if you want to leverage the solution for one-off testing. If you're making additional changes and you want to run the suite, you can engage with us and purchase additional executions at a fairly reasonable cost, but it is all based on the number of test cases that we're going to script and the number of executions that we're going to execute on your behalf. So most of our clients are, the pricing is based on 4 execution cycles for each of the quarterly patch releases. But again, we do work with clients that leverage the solution for one-off testing. They may have onboarded a new BU and they want to run through the test suite to make sure that the configurations that they've set up for the new BU are intact, and we do support them in that manner. So again, it is 100% consumption based, and clients are buying these in packages or in increments of test cases and executions. I hope I answered that correctly.
Okay. I think those are the questions I see here. If there are any further questions, please do post it on Q&A. Okay, so I think that's all we have, Art. So for more information, you could visit CloudTestr.com website. We're also available on Marketplace, and we have provided the points of contact as well here, who you can reach out to if you have any further questions or want to set up a quick discussion to get more additional details. And we will post the presentation as well as a replay of this session as well, so that if you want to share it with your other colleagues or want to get more details from this. Okay, thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Art.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
1 second, Art. I think there is one more question here.
Okay.
Does the dashboard had option to see the weekly reports on each module level case results?
Weekly reports. So you can view so on the dashboard, you can view the module level. I'm not sure I understand what the weekly reports would be.
So maybe so let me answer it this way, Satish. So the dashboard is real time. So whenever we are executing the tests, the updates are real time. So we do share weekly reports in emails as well, daily reports and weekly reports. But the CloudTestr dashboard itself is more real time transaction. So you can just log in and see what was executed in a release on a particular day, or you can see it at the end of the week. And it will show the consolidated view of what has been executed in that release.
Yeah, and also obviously at the module level, you can view module level metrics.
Yes, you can view at module level. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Anything else, Lavanya?
That's it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you all for attending. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Thank you.